Gestating the Curious Minds involves adult themes and situations. Just a warning. Welcome to Gestating the Curious Mind Season 2, where we sluice the spoken word down the throats of the thirsty. We are your entertainers, Glen and Gertie Nuzzles. Allow us to shine a light on the process of creation for the most splendiferous fiction genre, paranormal smut.
Is it still going to be paranormal smut? So we reworked the role list, we call it.
But none of it suggests sexuality.
No.
But our last book had sex, I guess.
Barely.
In the loosest sense.
Yeah.
I know, that's the thing. I feel like when it comes to actually writing something that involves sexuality, we both kind of have writer's block.
Which is so weird because we're both such dirty little piles of shit. The things we do to each other is horrible, but we don't want to write about it. Explain that to me.
I don't know. Maybe it's too intimate and we have, we don't want to be that vulnerable with our audience. In any case.
Maybe that's it. And then he peed all over him.
It's not your business what Glenn and I do in the bedroom.
Exactly. Or how we clean up afterwards with all that golden urine, dude.
I just feel like anything we write would be too much of a window into what our sexual preferences are.
That's true, which is none of their goddamn business.
No. So if this book involves sex, it was a mistake. Anyway.
You know what we should do maybe this time around?
What?
We should make it very sexual, but every time the act of sex is about to happen, then as the author we're like, and they had sex, and you can mind your own goddamn business. But there's all this sexual buildup and dirty talk and everything.
That's actually hilarious. I love that.
We could go for that angle this time.
Wait, let me write a note.
Okay, are we going to do it for real?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we doing in this episode? We're going to write a new book. Explain the process for anyone that's never heard this show before.
So if you're just joining us now, we have written a list of things to roll for as far as the parts of a story go, just to make sure that we get all the key points hammered out. And we want to do it by mere chance. We want to involve Lady Luck.
The luck of the dice.
We've written these lists with the assistance now of Glen's teenage kids.
Yes.
Which has been thrilling.
The elements that we're going to roll for are protagonist, an antagonist, a setting, a conflict, side characters, and then that's it. So, I guess just because this episode is going to be super short, if we don't pad it, we're going to explain everything before we roll for it. Which, by the way, when you were on the phone at Target,
with
Audrey,
my mom.
Yeah, Audrey's like, you were talking and you were walking behind us as Audrey and I were walking with the cart in the front, and then you were talking, and all of a sudden Audrey just goes, and she goes, I forget she's from the East Coast. And I go, why? Because sometimes she says stuff that sounds super New Jersey.
What did I say?
I can't remember now. I think you said the word gas or something. And she's like, yeah, sometimes it comes out. She sounds pretty Minnesotan most of the time, but then it comes out every once in a while. That was pretty hilarious.
That's adorable.
That was super adorable.
That's so cute. Oh, my God.
All right, so we're going to roll for the protagonist. We have a driving factor for them, a fault, and then that's it. Within each one, we have 20 things, which I'm about to list off. So get your, I don't know, if we're going to roll for each one. So just get 20-sided dice out.
Yep.
Driving factor, to be the best juror, to be a contestant on The Bachelor, belief in vampires, money, wants to be gay but doesn't understand sexuality on a very basic level.
That was Theo's.
Is that Theo?
Yeah.
To win The Bachelorette, to finish their book about toddler mysteries, to win Pie Fest, to get that kid new crutches, to free a whale, Pig City. That was mine. I'm just like, I don't know, Pig City, because I was busy when you asked me. Need for acceptance, efficiency, perfecting animal husbandry, wants cars that are fast and furious, in parentheses, to be the sweetheart of the family, even though orphaned, to have a pool at home instead of using a public pool, which is from our last book, to be prepared for nuclear fallout, to find a cure for werewolfism, and to live a life of crime. So we're going to roll for driving factor first.
Instead of bullet points, we should have used numbers.
You know, that's a good point.
Because we're going to have to count now. 20 and nat 20.
And nat
to live
20,
a life of crime.
To live a life of crime. Okay, so to live a life of crime, I have put that in.
Live a life of time.
Live a life of time.
He's Father Time.
Exactly. A man of his times. I love the 90s. We're still talking about Nirvana. It's fantastic. I'm a man of my times. All right, so next up is going to be fault that we're going to roll for. And so faults are illness. As if that's their fault.
It's so vague.
If I see someone with an illness like cancer, I'm like, loser.
Yeah, right.
You made the wrong choice.
Go to therapy.
Exactly.
That's a personality flaw.
Star Wars references. Finicky / fussy. Wanting to be liked by everyone. Jimmy legs. I think this probably came from my youngest Theo, not gay.
Yeah.
Yep, I figured.
For sure.
Theo's very much about the gays right now. Large forehead, nose picking, a southern accent. Oh, that's a fault. Obsessed with babies. Smells like wet eggs. And then from the last book, bats.
Bats.
Obsession with cats. Inept helicopter pilot. Cracks thumb knuckle a lot. Racist, which I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I
if we
really
actually have
hope
to
we
write
don't
about
choose
racism,
that one.
one's going to suck. Like, that's going to be a...
We're playing with fire. If we
Yeah.
don't roll that, I'm going to remove it from the list.
That's probably a good idea.
That would not be
because
fun to write.
There's no way to write about racism where it's funny.
I know.
It's just a bad
Even if we make them
bad
racist
option.
against something that makes zero sense at all, like we make up a new race, that's
Just
what we would have to do.
like old
It would have to
mothers?
be sci-fi,
Yeah, like a sci-fi
where
thing.
we make up a
Yeah.
race that they're racist against. But even then, that feels wrong.
You know, the only time I've ever heard racism being used in a way that was kind of funny to me was like the first season of The Orville, which is not a show that I really like or anything, where they were like trying to be the new Star Trek because Star Trek wasn't making anything. So there was an alien. He was being introduced to everyone on his crew. And then he got introduced to this one, like, kind of half-robot alien. And he goes, "Oh, I've heard about your kind. You're famously racist." And so, like, the only way we could, if we roll for racism, we're going to have to make it some... What is this again? This is a fault. So it'd have to be someone who's just famously racist. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out how to make that funny.
I mean, it is a fault, so you're not supposed to like them. And sometimes a main character who's unlikable can be a strong, can be a strong plot point.
True. Or it could be really annoying like The Great Gatsby, where there's no one likable in the entire story and I have no one to side with. And I'm like, I'm just plotting through hell.
Right.
I get that they wrote unlikable people, but this is hell on earth. I don't care about anyone. All right, so real thick nails, outside voice, unable to take personal responsibility, and allergic to common food stuff. All right, which one are we rolling there?
Oh my gosh. We have an 11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, hold on. I'm using the cursor and I screwed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Smells like wet eggs. Perfect. Thank God. Let's delete racism right now since we got out of there.
Right at this moment. What are we going to replace it with?
That's a good point. What are we going to replace it with? Someone who thinks racism is funny? We're just caught in the same circle.
Yeah, that's just as bad. I don't want to get in that mindset.
Yeah, I keep wanting to go on the racism thing. Like someone who's a big fan of South Park. It's just more racism.
Leave it blank for now and we can deal with it next season.
Fine. One of their faults can be... You gotta go pee?
Yeah, real bad.
Okay, that's fine. Go nuts.
Like, really badly.
All right, well, work your way upstairs. Waddle up there, my friend.
I'm trying.
Well, you're back, and you brought a slice of pizza downstairs with you, and you're breathing like an animal. We didn't know. You came down and I'm still taking notes. And I'm like, well, we're not recording yet, so don't say anything. And you're just like... And I'm like, wow, you're really breathing over there, huh? And then I'm like, oh, what are you smacking your lips? I look up and you got a slice of pizza. Your journey upstairs to the bathroom must have involved so much. Like there must have been elves and quests and all sorts. And you're just exhausted when you
Many
came back.
mountains.
Exactly. Oh, that's my hun. Okay. All right, I fleshed out all the other stuff. So we just rolled for fault. All right, so we got the fault. We removed racism from the list, so I'm just going to put a bunch of question marks there. We're going to figure that one out for the next season. Antagonist. Roll for one, then roll for sub ones. So we got person, place, or thing. So we're going to roll for one of three. Do we have a... Does a Dungeons & Dragons dice exist that's one of three?
No.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
We're going to use a D4, and if we roll a 4, we're going to roll again.
Oh, okay. Good thinking. Look at you. Even though you're exhausted, look at you chowing down on that crust right there. I love that you stopped the show like, I gotta pee, and I didn't have a chance to press pause. You just took off up the steps. I'm like, all right, well, go ahead, have fun. And then you come back down exhausted and eat pizza. What came out of you when you peed that you're so tired?
I'm drunk.
Okay. All right, so we're doing person, place, or thing. So roll one of three. If we get a 4, we got to roll again.
What came out of you that you're so exhausted?
Like a small man.
Birth.
Not actually like a baby, but like a small man in a suit. Just like, oh, I'm finally free. Your mother cursed me to live inside you. Never gonna date again. And then he takes off running.
My urethra is in bad shape right now.
You have the worst urethra. You mentioned that before we even started dating. Okay, roll. One of three. We got 2.
2.
So our antagonist is a place. All right, so our place options are 1 of 20. Charles de Gaulle Airport that we experienced personally, and that's hell on earth. French class, I think that came from Audrey.
That was Audrey.
HOA, Homeowners Association. Cragen's Resort, Europe, just Europe. Bathroom at Barnes and Noble. Was that Audrey?
No, that was me.
Oh, is that you?
I don't.
What experiences have you had at the bathroom at Barnes and Noble?
I firmly believe that everyone has had diarrhea in the bathroom of a Barnes and Noble.
Is that why book readers are so fussy? Because they got gastrointestinal issues?
Have you not had diarrhea in the bathroom of a Barnes and Noble?
No, I don't think I've ever used a Barnes and Noble's
Really?
bathroom. I don't think. I have
wow.
no reason to. I usually keep it together till I get home, and I explode. Arizona gated community. A middle-aged man's parents' basement. An art exhibit where everyone takes it too seriously. Art installation. Iowa. A bar. Island. A porta potty. The Mall of America. The State Fair. Route 17 in Bergen County, New Jersey. Pawn shop, shoe store, and summer camp. So we're going to roll. I hate when our antagonist isn't a person and it's like some abstract thing. Like last time it was a thing.
12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A bar. So the antagonist is a bar. What the hell are we supposed to write for that? A bar. That's going to be a tough one. I guess alcoholism.
Our person smells like wet eggs.
They're lonely because they smell like wet eggs. They want to live a life of crime. They fantasize about it while at a bar. The bar somehow feeds him to his life of crime.
A bar would help, yeah.
Feed him into his life of crime.
Because that's where ne'er-do-wells hang out.
Every time he's got a conflict where he's like, maybe I should do the right thing, goes to the bar, and I guess just alcohol in general tells him to do the wrong thing? I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll
find out. I don't think we really nailed antagonist being capitalism last time, but we'll figure this out this time.
I think we did a pretty good job.
Okay, so person, place, thing, we did all that. Oh, an idea. But we never got that. We got 2. Whoops. I forgot that idea. Electricity, IRS scams. Civil engineering. That was also an antagonist. I forgot about idea. Well, whatever. We've had too much to drink. Setting. We're going to roll for each one. Setting is time or place.
All right. Again, we're rolling a d4 because it doesn't exist. We got a 2 again.
Okay, so place. The places are Tulsa, Oklahoma, tundra, bayou, a cottage on a hill, ancient France. That's weird. A mostly empty theme park. I said that really strange. Christian college, graveyard, Forks, Washington, Hogwarts, haunted farm, a haunted tropical resort, a haunted mountaintop, hills, just hills, Ohio, Jefferson, California, the Rock of Gibraltar, the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, a haunted shuttle bus, and Sun Valley, Idaho.
Let's roll this d20.
Rolling for one of those.
What do we got? What do we got? 13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. A haunted mountaintop.
Ooh.
That's useful. That's something that makes our writing a little bit easier.
More ghosts.
More ghosts, which is going to make our side characters. We should just bring back Mateo Gibbs again.
We should. So Glenn and I have been joking that this is going to become a universe if we continue writing and we keep using this same role list. Things are going to overlap. So chances are we're going to end up with this kind of interwoven web.
You know, we should. And it'd be funny because, weirdly enough, we had no plans for Mateo Gibbs to be like the main character that's part of this universe that you learn more about. Didn't we? Isn't he the one that like choked trying to juggle?
He was juggling leather purses to try to woo a woman and choked on one.
Choked on a strap or whatever, and then she like tried to help him, and he's like, no, let this happen.
Me die.
So he could be in the next story where we learn more about him, a little bit more about his past, why he's such an asshole. So there you go. We're creating the, what are we going to call it? The Nuzzleverse? What are we going to call what we're creating?
The Nuzzleverse. We'll figure that out later.
All right, so a haunted mountaintop. Conflict. We got to roll for each one, then roll for sub one. So the conflicts are internal and external.
Okay.
So 1 of 2.
1.
Internal. So the list is self-doubt, attracted to bodybuilders but incredibly lazy, hates carrots, not gay enough, that's my youngest
Theo.
right there, yeah. Secret piss fetish, that's probably you.
Yeah.
Fear of pine trees, very focused on self-image, incredibly talented jazz musician but hates jazz. Desperately wants to date women but gay, that's Theo.
Also Theo.
Yep. Obsession with vintage Hot Topic clothing, sexually attracted to meat-like slices and stuff. Where'd that come from? Is that Theo or Audrey?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
That's not you or me. Sexually attracted to meat-like slices and stuff. That's not
that
one of us.
That kind of sounds like you.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was you.
You're dumb and stuff. Delusion of grandeur.
Don't say and stuff.
Just say dumb. I've been trying to show Jackie some of the things that people say here in Minnesota. Anytime the weather's nice, because the weather is either too hot or too rainy or too dry or whatever. Like, nothing's ever just good weather. In New Jersey, the weather's pretty good. Like, it's pretty nice. You have spring pretty early on. It's good weather.
We have weather, and we complain about the weather.
Do you think it's the same as here? Am I making a bigger deal out of nothing?
The way we complain?
No, is your weather kind of roughly the same as what we have? You haven't had a winter yet, but like, is it kind of roughly the same where it's like, we complain about weather all the time? Yeah. Is it the same as yours, or is
Summer
yours worse?
and winter are too long.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We don't have a spring, we don't have a fall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your weather seemed fine when I was out there. But, so the one thing is, here in Minnesota, people for real will say, hey, we really lucked out on the weather, huh? Because if it's an actual nice day, people genuinely appreciate it. Like, everyone in the state walks outside and genuinely appreciates it. And so my brother-in-law actually has a T-shirt that my sister bought for him that just says, hey, we really lucked out on the weather, huh?
Which is adorable.
It's completely adorable.
On Friday, my coworkers and I went to the state fair. Mm-hmm. And in our morning huddle, my ED, without irony, said, you couldn't have gotten a better day for it.
See?
And
Same thing. I
It was
know.
the most Minnesotan thing in the world, and it was so cute.
People in Minnesota just care too much about the weather when you really don't have to, but they do. And I catch myself doing the same thing, like, oh, wow, it's real nice out,
Oh,
huh?
it's nice out. Yeah, especially. It is so funny because Audrey called us out on it too. We have non-conversations. We have conversations that don't need to be had where we go in circles, like about laundry.
About laundry. She got so mad. She's like, stop talking about it.
Which one did we have today that we caught ourselves right before she rolled her eyes?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
but
what
you
it
called
was.
It out.
Yeah,
You
it's
called
so
it
funny
out.
because she's like, "Do you really need to have this conversation right now? You're not even
exactly.
saying anything."
we're just saying words like sheep just bleeding at that point. It's like, oh, I try to teach Gertie how to do a sheep bleed. I can do it. I go. That's not bad. You did
Not
pretty
too bad.
good. When you're on the air, you pulled it together. Because
Yeah.
we take walks or something, we go outside to like try to like burn off some calories, and then all of a sudden you'll go like, "Am I still good?" And you'll go, "Ah!" Like that. It sounds so horrible.
Sounds exactly like me. I can't walk and do anything at the same time.
Is that what it is?
It truly is. Yeah, I don't have the brain bandwidth.
Well, back to the point about sexually attracted to meat-like slices
Oh,
and
sure,
stuff.
sure.
The point of that is, one of the things I was telling Jackie is like, people in Minnesota say things like "and stuff" or "and stuff like that." So you'll take any sentence like, "Yeah, I just lost my job yesterday" and stuff like that. So you don't have to say and stuff like that. And we were watching a movie, was it The Nice Guys? Where his
Yeah,
daughter kept
with
saying
Ryan
stuff
Gosling.
like you can't say that.
He's like, honey, you don't have to say "and stuff." You can just say "I hate you."
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like a Midwestern Minnesota thing.
It was really cute.
Okay, so we got conflict internal, and now we're going to do side characters.
Wait, no, we didn't even roll for it. So after sexually attracted
you're
to
right.
meat and
I'm
stuff.
sorry. We've been drinking, so
Yes.
this is part of our problem. Delusion of grandeur, body dysmorphia, fear of slaps. I think that was mine. Little baby piss pants scaredy cat. That was you. Not really specific porn reference. I don't know who came up with
No,
that one.
really specific porn preference.
Really specific porn reference. Not sure if a family member is guilty of a crime. Not physically desirable. Trusts everyone all of the time. And an angrily private person. So that is for internal.
10.
Obsession with vintage Hot Topic clothing. Oh, Christ.
And also really wants to be a criminal. This is going to be perfect.
This is going to be ridiculous.
I love this.
All right, so that's internal. Side characters.
How many do we want? Do we want 2?
We should roll the 4-sided dice and see how many side characters.
That's a good
I
idea.
think we did that last time in the previous book. Which, by the way, 78 people downloaded it.
Thank you so much for reading that. Anyone
when I
who's
saw
around
that,
here.
I spit my gum out. I'm like, 78 people actually, and like 3 people put it in their personal libraries on
Yeah.
Smashwords. I'm like, who are these people? Why would you read this?
Thank you for reading it. We got 3.
Okay, so we got to roll the 20-sided dice for embody a trait. We got comic relief, whistle when they talk, high maintenance, bouncing off the walls or hyper, emo, small orange boy, angry.
That was Audrey.
Oh, is that Audrey? That's hilarious. Oh, because of the cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sporty spice, intensely shy, passive-aggressive overachiever, crybaby, the alpha, tough and sexy woman who can fix cars, wise old man, motivational speaker, the heckler, the hacker, lawless child, hedonist, and a daddy's child. Jesus Christ. We got to do this how many times? 3 times?
3 times. Okay. 3.
1, 2, 3. High maintenance. So we got to decide if it's a ghost or not. But yeah, high maintenance.
19. Hedonist.
Hedonist.
8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sporty Spice. Why Sporty Spice?
I feel like Sporty Spice would be a really... What if we do like an Ocean's type deal?
Ocean's 11 or something? What do you mean?
Yeah, like that someone's putting together a heist.
He wants to be a criminal because he's putting... Okay, so are you going to start taking notes?
Okay.
This is kind of where you excel.
All right, okay, wait. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do a quick review of what we've decided here. So we're going to come up with a title of this book probably much later, maybe even after the whole thing's been written. Mm-hmm. So our protagonist has the driving factor of wanting to live a life of crime, but they smell like wet eggs. And that's going to hold them back somehow. The antagonist is a bar. Mm-hmm. So maybe they want to pull off a heist on the bar.
Oh, and that could be the antagonist.
Maybe the bar won't let them be...
Basically, we have the kind of like hilarious accidents that come from the bar. So there we go. We actually found a way to make an antagonist. It's not a person.
Perfect.
Look at you.
And it's on a haunted mountaintop, so one of the team members can absolutely be a ghost. Maybe it's Mateo. Maybe Mateo has a past life of crime. There we go. The conflict is an internal obsession with vintage Hot Topic clothing. Mm-hmm.
How are we going to shoehorn this shit in?
So maybe he feels like he's pushed to fulfill this dream of being a criminal because he wants to dress alternatively. And he learns that he doesn't have to let his personal choice of clothing define who he is. And I use he just as a placeholder.
Yeah,
apparently, because I'm a bad feminist.
Protagonist, yeah. Well, let's definitely make it a woman this time. Last time was a guy. So it's a woman that wants to live a life of crime, but that could be the heist thing. Smells like wet eggs.
Yeah.
So they're an outcast.
Maybe she finds out she's been a demon this whole time. So she wants, because demons smell like sulfur.
That's true, they do.
Which smells like eggs.
All the time. All the time, dude.
All the time, dude. Their pockets are filled with eggs, dude.
They're obsessed with vintage Hot Topping clothing. That's going to be a tough one for us to shoehorn in. Because if anything, it's going to have to be a situation where it's like they're in the middle of successfully doing the heist, but all of a sudden they see a pair of like red and black plaid like short skirt thing off to the side, and they're like, oh shit, Brittany used to wear that shit.
I currently have 2 vintage, and by vintage I mean 2005, which
it's vintage.
It's vintage at this point.
Unfortunately, you're old.
I have
I'm sorry to say it, as a person that's older than you, you are also old. You're pretty old.
I have 2 vintage Hot Topic jackets in my possession that I refuse to get rid of.
They are so vintage that I think you showed it to Theo.
No, I wanted to. I brought them from New Jersey to give them to Theo, and then I never unpacked them.
I think you I think you either told Theo or showed Theo, but maybe just told them because you must have not unpacked it. But you said like, yeah, it's like a red and black plaid, like jackety thing. It's got a lot of belt buckles on it.
Got a lot of D-rings, dude.
Yeah, and then Theo just goes, no thanks.
Yeah.
Because it's too old.
It's too old, and it's not cool enough yet. No. Theo's still busy dressing like
somebody from
like
the
Gen
90s.
Z.
Yeah, it's a lot of like sweatshirts tucked into pants that have a lot of pleats.
Huge sweatshirt and short shorts.
Yep.
Or like a high-waisted khaki pant.
That's what I was thinking.
And an ironic
t-shirt
t-shirt tucked in.
Yeah, a lot of pleats on that khaki pant. Like back in the 1980s style, like this is what a man would wear to work. Kind of like my corporate job at Wall Street with a lot of pleats.
They dress like an IT professional. Yeah.
There you go. Yep,
definitely.
Exactly.
From maybe the late 90s. Not the early 2000s, because that was the short-sleeved, like, checkered gingham.
Yeah. Don't act like you don't like it anymore.
I do not like. I never liked it. I'm getting too bold at my new job.
Oh, really? What's going on?
So
I've never heard anyone say, my new job? Yeah, I'm getting too bold.
I know.
Never heard that said before.
The problem is I'm absolutely feral. So with something like work, I keep it tamped down because they don't need to know they don't need to know what I'm like. I get my work done and I come home, right? Yeah,
to your piss fetish when you come home.
To my piss fetish.
Which you will not write about either.
So I was working with my boss and we were putting papers together for unspecified reasons. And our boss comes in and it was Friday, so he was like, kind of dressed down.
Oh, look at him.
And I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's a shirt. And he was like, yeah, it's Friday. And I was like, if I was your wife, I would throw that shirt out.
Wow.
I know.
To your boss.
It just came right out of my mouth.
You look
I didn't
like
even
human
think.
shit. You should burn that shirt.
And he just...
That's fucking awesome.
It was
hilarious.
absolutely brutal. And I am so lucky that he has a sense of humor because he just looked at me and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. It was a truly ugly shirt, though.
Well, thank God for joint incomes because you can kind of live this sort of like, I'm the god of the video game I play. Like, this is not real. Like, I can say and do whatever I want. And then you get fired and you go find another job and I can support you for a while.
No, they're not going to fire me because I'm not I'm an asshole. To borrow from, what's that podcast? Small Town Murder.
Oh,
I'm an asshole, but I'm not a scumbag. Like, I'm not a bad person. I'm just rough.
Okay.
It's just that East Coast rough.
Sure.
And I'm just very lucky that it went over well. I'm sorry, whatever we were talking about just reminded me of that, and I never told you about it.
That's hilarious. I love that you just shut that guy down.
No, he's so nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary at all.
Is it one of those things where you kind of smiled and nodded? You're like, well, I'll take that into consideration. And then he went to a different room and cried for a while.
I don't think so. I don't think he thought about it again. I think he was just like, oh, really?
Who's this
Maybe
piece of shit
because his
we hired?
wife bought it for him. It looked like a shirt you'd buy from Marshall's 7 years ago. You know those? Like the inside of the collar and the cuffs you're supposed to turn up because the inside of the cuffs have a different color and pattern from the rest of the shirt.
Oh, that's tacky.
Do you remember when that was a thing?
Yeah, that's tacky.
And then it was like little lightning bolts, but a little bit more abstract. Really small
gross.
pattern all over it. And it was just really, truly ugly.
He had little lightning bolts on his...
They weren't lightning bolts. They were little squiggles, like
That's
scribbles. It's a bad shirt. Anyway,
well, you
I'm
made the
done.
right choice.
No, I
you
didn't.
got to cut a guy down like that.
No!
You absolutely have to. What the hell is that? What are those squiggles?
I don't know where that
came from. What the hell's wrong with you?
I looked at his shirt and it fell out of my mouth. It's like I blacked out for a moment and my body was no longer under my control.
And then you woke up like, what did I say?
Yeah, the demon came out and said, that's a fucking terrible shirt. Go change right now. Go drive home and change.
Oh, for Christ's sake. All right. Okay, so I made a section called Gertie's Notes.
Cute.
You wrote down dirty buildup, but when it's time for sex, no one's goddamn business.
Maybe a heist on a bar. Because the bar is
antagonist
an
is the bar.
antagonist.
So yeah, you're trying to conquer the bar, and the bar won't let you. So there you go.
I want to say maybe the bar won't let the protagonist use the bar as their criminal's lair. So
That's so... Wow, that's tough to write.
no, it's not.
We want to use this as our lair, but somehow the bar's like, no, and kicks them out.
Well, the owners of the bar, the people who work here, work there, are like, absolutely not. Like, find somewhere else to be a ne'er-do-well. You know what? I'm using this as inspiration.
Sure.
So we watched an episode of Columbo.
Yeah.
Where there was that one ne'er-do-well, chronic ne'er-do-well, who was hanging out at that one bar that absolutely looked like a bunch of plywood just propped up.
I don't remember this.
And the guy was there at the bar, and his girlfriend came in and said, like, you've been in the joint for 10 years, and I stood by you, and you're going to take me to a show.
Yeah, that was the guy because Columbo needed to ask him for help. Like, hey, you're part of the underground. Can you help me set this thing up? Yeah, okay, that's a good vibe. I'm on that.
Use it.
So, are we going to make the protagonist a woman this time? I think we should.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, because last time it was a guy. There's no reason to keep making it guys every goddamn time because then we're not challenging ourselves.
So let's get into our name generator.
Oh, okay.
What are we going to name our protagonist then?
Here we go. Chloe Hannah Davis, or Hannah Chloe Williams, or Bethany Rebecca Smith.
Bethany.
In quotes, Smithy.
Bethany Smith, but they call her Smithy.
That's pretty good, because if she's going to be a bar person that wants to pull off a heist, Smithy's a pretty
That's a pretty great nickname.
All right, so we got a bunch. Okay, so should we just go with that?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
So what is the name of our bar? And it's a haunted mountaintop bar.
Let's do bar name generator. I love doing new searches to see what websites actually specialize in certain things. Ultimate bar name generator. That's a website.
It exists.
The ultimate bar name generator. Generate name. The striped gimlet outpost. You don't have to take these. I'll just go through them. I keep clicking the button. The feisty goblet parlor. The twirling lady hangout.
Yes.
Okay.
The twirling lady hangout.
There we go.
Maybe she wants to be a twirling lady, and they won't let her.
I don't know what a twirling lady is, so we have to do a little bit of research. Because that might be an actual thing that we can make part of her personality, where she's like, God, I wish I was a twirling lady. Maybe it's like a weird, like, Russian thing. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. So then what's next?
So we need names for 3 side characters who are going to be our teammates, I want to say.
Okay. So do we want to work Mateo Gibbs into this still, or do we want to just let that one go?
I think it would be really funny to have some crossover.
Okay, so the side characters, high maintenance, hedonist, and sporty spice, we have to get rid of one and put Mateo Gibbs in.
I feel like Mateo is high maintenance.
Okay, so we'll say Mateo.
Because he's kind of like stuffy. Supposed to be kind of condescending.
Okay. Then hedonist. All right, so we got Mateo Gibbs.
Yep.
All right, so the hedonist, I'm going to start listing off names. We're going to do male.
You know what would be really funny? Is if Mateo Gibbs is the only constant in every single one of our stories. And it turns out it's just a series about Mateo Gibbs.
That's all it is. We have to figure out. So then that means that in this story, you might want to make a note of this. In this story, we got to make some mention of why he's jumped homes. Like why he left the previous guy's home for this one. Also, we never picked the year.
The forested tip was on a haunted mountaintop, wasn't it?
It was. You know, for setting,
we just chose a date.
We're supposed to roll for each one.
Did we not roll for a date?
We did a place. We got to roll for a date.
Oh.
I forgot about that.
Ooh,
damn it. This sucks. Well, this is what happens when you drink too much before you do a podcast. So for setting... For some reason, under time, we have a roll 1d20 twice. Roll must be a double digit. That's one of the options that we can roll for in time.
That was the one that we used. That's how we ended up with whatever year we did for our first story.
Yeah, but it's actually an option that we roll for. When we roll for it, if we roll for number 9 or whatever, we're going to get the option is roll 1d20 twice. Not actually a year or a date or a month.
We could have totally randomized.
So everyone's going to be like, well, ever since they rolled for our year, 1d20 twice, the roll must be a double digit. Things have been pretty weird this year. We're hoping next year things will be better.
That would be hilarious.
To keep that one. Okay, so roll a 20-sided dice.
Okay. 17.
Just Christmas.
It's a Christmas story.
It's a Christmas story. A Christmas romance paranormal story. There we go. So for setting, antagonist the bar, it's going to happen over Christmas, so it's a Christmas heist. And the place is a haunted mountaintop. Is that for the protagonist? Is where they live? Is a haunted mountaintop?
I feel like the bar is on a haunted mountaintop.
Mm-hmm. Which
I feel like maybe Mateo is an inside mole. I feel like maybe Mateo works at the haunted mountaintop bar.
Continue.
So
why would he leave the bad guy from the 1700s?
Man.
We don't have a year, so we don't know what year this is. We could make up a reason why he left the the Bat Guy.
That guy could be dead by now if it's like 1800s.
And then what happens?
Well, if it's Hot Topic, we have to make it
Yeah, that's true.
relatively recent.
Yeah, it's got to be like 2020 or more to make the Hot Topic from the 2000s be ancient.
Oh, to make it vintage. That's true.
All right, let's say Christmas. Should we do the pandemic 2020?
How would we work the
2021?
pandemic into it?
We could do 2021.
Let's do 2021.
Okay, a
Let's
little less
make it
pandemic.
just
Yeah.
a current year type situation.
Okay, so on the Haunted Mountaintop. So it would be funny if the ghost wife, Hattie, she was in his will, or at least on the mortgage, so that when John or whatever, when he died, she basically took over the place, and then she's like, well, I'm a ghost. I'm not going to have ghost buddies living here, so get the fuck out. Kind of thing. And so then he was like out on the streets. And so we'll just kind of vaguely talk about how he's lived a long life of jumping from place to place before finally landing in this haunted mountaintop bar. That should probably be our thing. Because that means that if we roll for the next book, it could be an in-between book between this storyline for Mateo Gibbs.
That makes sense.
Where it's like in the 1970s, and he's like, things were real cool. Women were real loose. Mateo Gibbs finally got out to it.
Mateo Gibbs finally lost his virginity.
As a ghost, he couldn't do much, but he'd watch him masturbate. Oh, he loved it. All right, so the conflict, internal, obsession with vintage Hot Topic clothing. How are we going to work that into the story where it's meaningful? We can make it an offhanded comment here and there, but like, how do we make a mental note where it can be a thing that... Because it's his internal conflict, or her internal conflict.
I feel like
How do we make
we
that a
should
thing?
probably play on her feelings of being ostracized and wanting the way she dresses to reflect that feeling of kind of being on the outside.
Okay, so she smells like eggs.
Yeah.
No one's... From birth.
Yeah.
So no one's ever liked her. So all through school, she went through a rebellious phase because it's like, well, no one likes these. I smell like eggs, so fuck you guys. So she hung out with like an art crowd, that kind of thing, in like high school and that sort of thing. And for some reason, these clothes helped her really find her identity, even though she smelled like eggs. Is that...
Sounds like me in middle school. Yeah.
Do you smell like eggs back then?
Maybe.
The way you fart? I wouldn't doubt it. Last night, she came back from the state fair.
That's not even fair.
And I'm laying in bed, and oh my God, the farts. I woke up in the morning, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm the one farting and made the room smell this bad, but this room smells really bad.
It smelled really bad. No, it was definitely me. I woke up still farting really bad farts, which usually after a couple hours it stops, but no.
Yeah, all night long, just kept going,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
they were
So I woke
not
up this
friendly.
morning and was like, oh, it just smells sulfurous
It
in here.
smells like farts in here.
The whole bedroom, I had to open the door and like open and close it and just get the air to go through.
Trying to get the farts into the hallway so the rest of the family has to deal with
So
it, not
Theo
just
and the
us.
dog wake up,
Yeah.
just like, what the hell's that smell? Is
What
something
is
burning?
that? Is the house burning down? What happened?
Okay, so is that going to be kind of the thing? The egg smell made her not lash out, but just like have a rebellious phase. And Hot Topic was the sweet spot. So now now in 2021, she looks back at that time of like the clothes was my. Well, then that makes us have to say, what is her life like now, where she feels like she's compromising herself? Where Hot Topic, way back when in the 2000s, was her golden period. Like, how is she now where she's like, man, I wish she'd go back to Hot Topic back in the 2000s?
Well, I think it's just that she's made that her entire personality.
To this day?
Yeah.
Oh, so is she always hunting down clothes to wear now that existed back in the 2000s?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Like,
she's not
that's her-
collecting it. She's going to wear it.
But the conflicts, so it still has to be a conflict. Maybe she refuses to stop wearing bondage pants, even though it makes it more difficult to be a criminal if you can't move freely and quietly.
I think this falls in your camp to write all that stuff. Okay, we'll
can
do that. You seem to know a lot about that. Okay, so we're going to let that. Okay, so she's still wearing the clothes from the 2000s, and she's actively going to flea markets and looking for Hot Topic clothes from the 2000s that she can wear today. Okay.
Perfect.
Side characters.
We need a name for a hedonist.
Yeah, so for hedonist, I'm thinking we should try to imagine what kind of person is going to be the hedonist, and then we'll come up with a name for it. But so we have an idea. So Sporty Spice is self-explanatory. Like that's Sporty Spice from the Spice Girls.
Yes.
She's into material things, kind of probably very bland, whatever.
What? That's not... No.
Sporty Spice wasn't a complicated person.
The best vocalist of the Spice Girls.
Okay, well, are we going to actually
one.
make it... Oh, I thought Sporty Spice in spirit. Like an actual, like, singer? Like, is it literally the Sporty Spice as a ghost?
She's still alive.
That's what I'm saying. That's really weird.
She's not a ghost. She is actively alive
Should we
in
make
2021.
Sporty Spice dead in this story?
No!
We can do anything we want. We can make her dead in this story if you want to.
I would never even manifest that.
I was thinking
Sporty
singing,
Spice is she's cool and she's athletic.
When I remember, from what I remember, the Spice Girls, it was very like they were pretty surface level as far as their little their little performance personalities went. So it's just kind of like, I love sports, and I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna kick real hard and sing real loud.
You never saw Spice Worlds, and it shows.
I never saw. Yeah, it doesn't show. No, I never watched Spice World. Oh, you watched Spice World?
Multiple times.
I was just gonna say, how many times?
It's a fantastic movie.
Is it really good?
Yes, it's genuinely hilarious.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Really? Is it honestly?
It's honestly really funny.
Maybe we should watch before we do our first chapter.
We can do that.
So I got a good idea of Sporty Spice. How are we? For me and outsiders that don't know Sporty Spice as well as you do, how are we defining the Sporty Spice character? Is it a ghost? Are they all ghosts again? Or are they people?
We have Mateo Gibbs, so I feel like that covers it.
Yeah.
Because it's a haunted mountaintop, so we have to accept the fact that there are ghosts.
Sure.
But I feel like Sporty Spice is like Catherine Zeta-Jones in Entrapment. Stop it.
Is that where she slides under the lasers?
She dips beneath the lasers.
That's right. There's that song. She dips beneath the lasers.
What is that? Workaholics.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Okay, so you can write up the general. What Sporty Spice is just...
We have to find her name.
Is it literally just going to be a copycat of the actual Sporty Spice person from Spice World? Or is it going to be some sort of offshoot wannabe type? Or what do you want? What do you want to do?
Oh my God.
Whatever. You came down panting. You got done peeing and you were breathing heavy. Because you pissed out a little man like, I'm free from your mother's curse, and ran away.
You just dry heaved, and to take the pressure off yourself, you throw me under the bus.
Totally. I directed all towards you.
You're terrible.
Well,
Sporty Spice is just like
a wannabe person?
Cool. Just fucking cool.
Okay, so this is the person that isn't trying to identify with Sporty Spice.
No, just cool.
Okay, so it's not going to be like they have wants and desires that are real.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not just like, I like to have a good time.
I think
like to
maybe
punch and
she's
kick.
competitive and she likes the challenge. So she doesn't necessarily need the prize of the heist. She just likes the challenge of doing it.
So for Sporty Spice, Miss Maddie Blois, Blois, or Miss Eldritch Orange, Miss Arlette Sachs, Miss Lorena Stewart, Miss Angie... The Miss is because I added that. I'm sorry. But I think Miss is pretty funny. Angie Amvagen, Miss Lucretia York, which isn't bad.
Lucretia York is a pretty badass name, and
That's
it sounds pretty chavvy.
Okay, so let's do Lucretia York. Yeah. Before we get into this person's personality, I'm looking at Anton Todd, in parentheses, Ton, T-O-N, Y, tagged as a serial killer. Adolf Coraline, Y, tagged as a serial killer. Apparently users tag all these names in a certain way. Nathan Christensen, Y, tagged as a serial killer. Andre Draggett, Drew is the nickname. Tagged as a serial killer, Todd Brady, William Randall, Charles Ridgway, which sounds pretty good. A hedonist called Charles Ridgway is pretty good.
Let's go with Charles Ridgway.
Okay. Also tagged as a serial killer. But, so the hedonist, a little bit of backstory with the hedonist. We already know Mateo Gibbs. We got Sporty Spice, which you've got that whole thing going on. For the hedonist, just roughly, is it just a guy that was like a loser all of his life and suddenly decided to get hot later and then became a hedonist?
Decided to get hot.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I feel like he's maybe just kind of greedy for luxury.
All right, Charles Ridgway, Lucretia York,
Lucretia York.
and sweet Mateo Gibbs.
We got it. So we'll need a name for maybe the owner of the bar.
Okay, let's get that real quick.
Because that owner is going to snub our main character, Beth Smithy.
Let's make him a rabbi, because they say, what's your character's title? And one of them is Reverend, Rabbi, Imam, Lord, Lady, Dame, King, Queen, Prince, Countess. Let's do Rabbi. He's a rabbi that owns a bar in a haunted mountaintop. What is his character? Is he a great leader, poetic, virtuous, or evil? This person that we're going to name, the owner of the bar.
How about we make him virtuous because he doesn't want ne'er-do-wells setting up camp in his bar.
Okay. We're going to suggest that his birth year was 1999, so he's pretty young. Should I suggest a new year?
Really young.
Yeah, he's really young.
You
okay.
can't be a rabbi that young.
No, okay. Suggest another year. 2000, nope. 2015, nope. 2011, nope.
That's way worse.
1995, nope. 2010, 16, 1907.
Sure.
Fine.
An
He's just
ancient,
weirdly
crusty
lived.
rabbi.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, perfect. Generate the character names. We got Rabbi James Canmore, in parentheses, Jim. Rabbi Robert Tudor, which is Bob. Rabbi Thomas York. Rabbi Henry Denmark, or Hank. Kind of a bar guy name, Hank. Rabbi John Dunkeld.
Where are we? Are we in Georgia?
We're in... That's a good point. Like
are we still in Gutwater, Georgia?
Should this all take place in different parts of Georgia? Which could explain why the hedonist came from Kentucky and went down to Georgia. Because the devil went down to Georgia.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I don't know. That's a good point.
The devil is Bethany Smith. She just doesn't know it yet.
That's a good point. I kind of like the Rabbi William Orange.
Here comes a child.
Another child coming.
Rabbi William Orange.
Oh, there's also Rabbi George Plantangent. Hi, we're doing a podcast. Do you want to say hi? Because you do that all the time.
I was going to show you this horrible list that my math teacher made. Excuse me. Thank you.
What's the horrible list your math teacher made?
Just take a quick look. It starts out with a quick Comic Sans.
Oh, show.
No.
Look at that. Isn't that ridiculous?
Why?
That's embarrassing. That's really big.
Unironically?
Unironically.
Wow. And then this is the list of all the shit I have to do.
Oh, no.
Is this one of your real classes?
This is high school?
This is college algebra.
Oh, this is college algebra.
Really, I wrote it out in a list, and that's all it is.
Oh, really?
But she used, it's these three things, but she used all those words to say that.
That's hilarious.
And she doesn't give you the dates of things. She says, week 2, Wednesday at midnight. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to pull up a fucking calendar. I don't know.
That's so she doesn't have to rewrite the syllabus every year.
Yeah.
What a jerk. Oh, there goes the orange cat. We're plotting out our story. We're down to a rabbi that runs a bar in a haunted hilltop. So I'm going to list off names, and you have to tell me the names that you approve of. Okay? Rabbi James Canmore, Rabbi Robert Tudor, Rabbi Thomas York, Rabbi
Like the
Henry...
Radiohead guy?
Tom York! Tom York! It's just Tom... It doesn't have to be a rabbi.
It's just Tom York.
Except that Tom York always was secretly a rabbi, but he never told anyone when he was a... Oh!
Beautiful.
Thank you, my friend.
I didn't
Thank
do
you,
it.
child.
I just...
But
I love
Don't
when,
touch the man.
I love when the man sits on your shoulders like some sort of
Me and the orange
beautiful
cat.
falcon.
looking at my math list and Comic Sans.
Sporty Spice's last name is York.
That could be a tie-in.
Maybe
that's the daughter of Thomas York that's just like, I hate my dad and I want to bring that place down. There's a whole angle there.
Or she's his sister and she's got that competitive streak in her, so she wants to
There you go.
beat
She
him
wants
at
to take down her
something.
brother that's always been like mildly more successful.
That cat is really perched.
Yeah, I wish people could see this. The way the cat perches on you like a falcon.
Fuck! Hurts so bad, honey.
That's pretty bad. Well, there we go. So Thomas York, that's a better rabbi name. Because he's always, when he's not in his band, he's at this bar. And he's been secretly a rabbi this entire time.
And just no one's known.
No one's ever known. Perfect. Oh, since you're here, when we were in Target and Gertie was talking to their mom, and you said, I forgot that they came from the East Coast because of what they said. What was the word that they said?
Dog food. Gotta get the dog food.
I love you're talking to your mom and you're like, oh, we gotta get dog food. And your mom's like, oh, dog food? That's expensive.
And then right after I went, dog food.
Well, actually, Audrey started laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? She's like, I keep forgetting that Gertie is from the East Coast and that they have the East Coast accent. I'm like, what did they say? I'm like, dog food.
I know. It gets worse when I talk to my mom because her accent is so thick.
Yeah.
So when I'm here surrounded by Midwesterners, I don't think about it. But
Oh,
whenever
just
I
talk
talk
about
to
the
my
weather and
mom, I
stuff,
fall
yeah.
right back into it.
That's adorable. Okay, well, I think we're done. Is there anything else?
Not until we start writing it, we'll have to figure out some extra details. But
That's
I think
true.
this
Well, the
is a
next
good
episode
outline.
is us brainstorming the first chapter. So we're going to have to lay out each chapter and kind of what's happening in the chapters. Then we start with chapter 1 and start writing it.
I
So
hope your mic is picking up what's coming off of Audrey's headphones.
it probably is because it's pretty damn loud.
It
You
is
were trying
really
to-
loud.
You're trying to get the purrs, and it will pick up the purrs, but I think your headphones got in the way.
The masses need to hear MF Doom.
Is that what's listening? Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay,
the end
fine.
of one of his songs, so it's just
No.
like a clip straight from the cartoon.
I think he just swiped his entire asshole
I
onto the
know,
back of your
right?
head.
Okay, well, I think we're done. I think we got everything we need for this episode. So thanks for listening. In the next episode, we're going to plot out chapter 1. So thanks for listening. Gertie, say something.
Okay, bye.
Audrey, say something.
Bye.
Want to contact us? Don't. This isn't about you. But if you have to, my email is glen.nuzzles, Nuzzles, @gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, @HouseNuzzle. But don't bother us, because we're too busy working.